The village was now gripped by an overwhelming sense of fear and desperation. With 2 maidens already fallen victim to the beast, the villagers knew they had to act quickly to prevent further tragedy. The air was thick with tension, and the once lively and harmonious village was now shrouded in an oppressive gloom. As the villagers gathered around the elders, they shared their concerns and fears. Mothers clutched their daughters tightly, not wanting to let them out of their sight. Fathers sharpened their tools and weapons, ready to defend their families from the monstrous threat that lurked in the shadows. "We cannot live in fear," Elder Nia declared, her voice filled with determination. "We must come together and protect our village. We must perform the ritual and summon the spirit of Kofi." The villagers nodded in agreement, their resolve strengthened by the elders' words. They knew that they had no other choice but to trust in the power of the ancient ritual and in the guidance of the seer. The seer, an elderly woman with deep lines etched into her face, guided the villagers in gathering the necessary materials for the ritual. Sacred herbs and plants were collected from the forest, and mystical symbols were drawn on the ground with chalk and ash. The villagers chanted ancient prayers, their voices rising in unison as they sought the protection and guidance of their ancestors. As night fell once more, the village was enveloped in an eerie silence. The fear that had taken hold of the villagers was palpable, and they knew that the beast could strike again at any moment. Despite their terror, they remained focused on the task at hand, their faith in the ritual their only source of hope. The beast, sensing the villagers' determination, grew increasingly agitated. Mbulu's hunger was insatiable, and it reveled in the fear and despair that it had sown. The beast's twisted form moved through the shadows, watching as the villagers prepared for the ritual. As the ritual began, the villagers gathered around the fire, holding hands and chanting in unison. The seer, standing at the center of the circle, raised her hands towards the sky, calling upon the spirit of Kofi. The flames of the fire danced and flickered, casting long shadows across the village. For a moment, it seemed as though the ritual might not work. The villagers' chants grew louder, their voices filled with desperation and hope. Then, suddenly, a powerful presence made itself known. The spirit of Kofi, a tall and muscular warrior with a fierce expression, appeared before them. Adorned in traditional battle attire and surrounded by a mystical aura, Kofi's presence brought a sense of relief and hope to the villagers. "I will help you," Kofi declared, his voice strong and resolute. "I will face the beast and end its reign of terror." The villagers' fear began to dissipate, replaced by a renewed sense of hope and determination. With the spirit of Kofi on their side, they believed that they could finally defeat the beast and restore peace to their village. As they prepared for the confrontation, they knew that they had to remain united and strong in the face of the darkness that threatened their home. While the villagers prepared for the battle with the spirit of Kofi, Mbulu lurked in the shadows, formulating its own plan. The beast, though driven by an insatiable hunger, was not without intelligence. It knew that the villagers were rallying against it and that the spirit of Kofi posed a significant threat to its existence. It understood that brute force alone might not be enough to defeat the spirit warrior. The beast decided to use the villagers' fear and despair to its advantage, hoping to weaken their resolve and disrupt the ritual. As the night progressed, the beast moved silently through the village, observing the preparations for the ritual. It watched as the villagers gathered around the fire, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Mbulu could see the determination in their eyes, but it also sensed the underlying fear that gripped their hearts. The beast decided to strike at the heart of the villagers' unity. It knew that if it could sow discord and doubt among the villagers, their chances of successfully summoning the spirit of Kofi would be diminished. Mbulu began to spread whispers of fear and despair, using its dark powers to manipulate the minds of the villagers. "Why do you trust the elders?" a sinister voice echoed in the minds of the villagers. "They have no power to protect you. The beast will come for you all, and there is nothing you can do to stop it." The villagers, already on edge, began to feel the weight of these doubts. Some started to question the efficacy of the ritual and the wisdom of the elders. The unity that had been their strength began to show cracks, and the beast reveled in the chaos it had created. Amara and Zay, the maidens who had already fallen victim to the beast, felt the despair more acutely than the others. They had experienced the beast's terror firsthand, and the whispers of doubt resonated deeply with their own fears. Despite their suffering, they tried to remain hopeful and supportive of the ritual, but the weight of their trauma was difficult to bear. The elders, sensing the growing unease among the villagers, redoubled their efforts to maintain unity and hope. Elder Nia and Elder Arins, the most senior members of the council, spoke words of encouragement and reassurance, reminding the villagers of their strength and resilience. "We cannot let fear divide us," Elder Nia declared, her voice strong and unwavering. "We must stand together and trust in the power of the ritual. The spirit of Kofi will guide us and protect us." The villagers, though still plagued by doubt, took solace in the elders' words. They knew that they had no other choice but to trust in the ritual and the guidance of the seer. With renewed determination, they continued their preparations, hoping that the spirit of Kofi would indeed be their savior. Mbulu, watching from the shadows, knew that the final confrontation was drawing near. The beast's plan to sow discord had not fully succeeded, but it had managed to plant seeds of doubt and fear. As the villagers still carried on their preparation for the battle, Mbulu steeled itself for the coming fight, determined to protect its dark existence at any cost. Despite the villagers' efforts to maintain unity and hope, the beast's hunger was far from satisfied. As the villagers prepared for the final confrontation, Mbulu continued to lurk in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The beast's insatiable desire for innocence drove it to seek out yet another victim. Amina, whose laughter and joy had always brightened the village, was the beast's next target. Amina was known for her radiant smile and kind heart. She had a way of lifting the spirits of those around her, and her presence was a source of comfort and happiness for many. Despite the fear that had taken hold of the village, Amina tried to remain positive and hopeful, supporting her friends and family through the difficult times. As night fell, Amina prepared for bed, her mind filled with thoughts of the upcoming ritual and the hope that the spirit of Kofi would protect them. She knew that the village was counting on the ritual to bring an end to the beast's terror, and she held on to that hope as she drifted off to sleep.